Hi, I'm Kira. Welcome to class. This will be an intermediate yoga flow to dancer pose. It might be useful to you to have a blanket for some knee padding for some of the shapes we'll explore today. So let's get started right away. Child's pose. So you bring yourself into child's pose. We'll take a reverse prayer variation, walking the elbows forward, bringing the palms to prayer like a shark fin, and melting the forehead down. Walk the elbows a bit further away from you and sink the chest down between the arms. Start to deepen your breath. A few more breaths here, allowing this humble shape to open our shoulders, our hips, and also the heart as we prepare for practice. Extend the arms forward. Let your next inhale pull you forward to tabletop position and tuck your toes. Cat and cow. Pause with a neutral spine. We'll add a bit more of an active back bend to this cat-cow. Lift your right toes up and point them, and then arch your spine like cow pose. Inhale. Exhale to cat, knee to nose. 3 more like that. Inhale, cow, lifting the right foot high. Exhale to cat. 2 more. Turning on your strong back muscles and waking up your hamstring. From here back to tabletop position, we switch. Left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale to cat, knee to nose. Inhale, cow, lift and arch. Exhale, cat, knee to nose. 2 more. Tabletop position, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back for down facing dog. And start to pedal through your legs, bend one knee and then the other. And then walk the hands back to the feet. So we'll find a forward fold at the back of the mat. Bend the knees now, toes facing forward, find a squat. And just come down to the bottom of your range and then back to a forward fold. And we'll just move through those 2 movements about 10 times or so, waking up all the joints of the legs. Take this as fast or as slow as feels good. Building some heat in the legs. Let's meet in a forward fold, friends. And then walk the hands out to plank pose. Shoulders over wrists, drop the knees for knees, chest, chin. Elbows straight back, chest dips. Slide forward onto your belly. Cobra, plant the hands by the ribs. As you inhale, pull the chest forward and up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. On the exhale, stay. Bring your feet wider apart, holding a low cobra pose. Pull the shoulders back away from the ears, and then lift your feet. Point your toes. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale, tap the feet together. Inhale, move feet apart. Exhale, tap feet together for 8. Inhale, feet apart. Exhale, feet tap. Inhale, apart. Exhale, tap. Keep this going, maintaining the back bend so you wake up the whole back chain of the body. Last 3, and 2, and 1. Lower down, press yourself up and back, downward facing dog. And just breathe here. Pressing down through the inner hands, feel you're actively shoving the ground away and pressing the chest back to the thighs. Opening the shoulders, we'll need that for where we're headed. Sweep your right leg high here, Bend your knee, open your hip. And then step your right foot outside of your right hand for lizard lunge. I highly recommend padding up your back knee if it's at all sensitive. We'll lower the back knee down, so we're here in lizard lunge. We'll shift back and straighten the front leg and flex the toes to the face. Rebend and lunge. Exhale, lean back like a wide half split. One more like that. Rebend and lunge. Now add a twist. Right arm lifts. Now cactus your right arm and lift your back foot with a flexed foot. Inhale, extend arm and leg. Exhale, cactus and lift back foot. Inhale, extend. Exhale, cactus and lift the foot. And this time try to grab it. If that doesn't feel good, you'll just release it and we'll all be in some variation of a lizard lunge twist. So breathe in your pose. If you're grabbing the foot, pretty generous quad stretch here. Move your breath down into the legs. One more breath in. Breath out, release the hands, release the foot if it's lifted. Skandasana, side lunge, so the back knee will lift. Hands crawl to the left as we find our side lunge. High or low, Skandasana, getting into the hips. And try to find a sense here of sitting up in the sitting down of it. And lift up and pivot back to the front. Plant the hands for down dog split. Sweep the right leg up and back. Bend your knee, open your hip, stay right there, or flip your dog. We'll meet back in down dog split. And then lower the right foot down. Option to stay, or inhale and shift to plank and move through a vinyasa flow. Downward dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip. And then step your left foot outside your left hand. Lizard lunge, back knee lowers down. And then lizard lunge rocks. Shift back, straighten your front leg, and then rebend and lunge. The little microphone is scooted loose. Just gonna tuck her back in. So back and forth. And we'll meet in that lizard lunge position and add a twist. Left arm lifts. Cactus left arm, lift the back foot and flex it. Inhale, extend. Exhale, cactus and lift. One more. Option to grab the foot or release it. You have about 3 deep breaths in your lizard lunge twist. Variation of choice. Ooh, my right quad always has so much more to say. Breathe down into the quads. They're such a dense muscle group. They really do a lot for us and hold on to a lot energetically. Release what you've got going on. Skandasana, side lunge. Crawling the hands to the right, finding your Skandasana, high or low. And pivot back to the front. Plant the hands, down dog split. Bend the knee, open the hip, stay or flip your dog. We'll meet back in down dog split. And lower the left foot, down dog. Option to stay or shift to plank and move through your vinyasa. Let your inhale pull you forward to plank and lower you all the way down to your belly. Bring the arms back alongside the hips for locust, Shalabhasana. Lift everything up, rolling the tips of the shoulders back. Option to stay or turn this into bow pose, Natarjasana, grabbing with feet or ankles. If you're taking bow, really kick your feet actively into your hands. Last breath, and release. Come onto your forearms now, Sphinx pose. Bring the elbows a bit forward of the shoulders and roll the shoulders down the back. So pretty gentle back bend after what we just did. If you'd like to find more length and depth, straighten the arms for seal pose. Spin the inner elbows forward here and continue the feeling of shoulders rolling down the back, head lifting up, pelvis melting down. There should be such a sensation of length in seal pose, like your spine is a slinky and you're pulling it forward and up. One more breath in. And out, lower down. Make a pillow for the head with the hands, bend the knees, and take some windshield wipers side to side. Extend the legs, press yourself up to stand on your knees for camel pose, Ustrasana. We'll just do one round. You can pad the knees if you like. And bring the hands to the low back and draw the elbows toward one another. I always think of camel like doing the limbo. There's this sense of lifting up to go back, and it's very light and free. So as you're ready, camel pose. Sternum lifts up to go back. Head can drop back if it feels okay. Whenever you're ready to come out, let your head be the very last thing. So it's like a rewind. Sit hips to heels in Virasana or child's pose. Just feel the effects of the pose. This practice can be a moving meditation if we take the pause to witness those internal shifts. Just come back to hands and knees. And step your right foot between your hands, coming into low lunge. If you have blocks, you may want to have them handy at this point, but you'll kind of see what you need. And come into a low lunge with your hands on your front thigh. And you'll bend your front knee quite a bit, so you're deepening your lunge. You may need to walk your back knee back a little bit here. And as you lean and sink into your lunge, think of actively hugging the inner legs together and lifting your heart here. So it's an active low lunge. Option to take a dancer variation here, lifting your back toes and catching your foot from the inside. Extend the right arm forward with a mudra, index to middle finger. Now, if this really doesn't work for your back knee, you could take a back bend variation, hooking the thumbs, reaching up to go back. So choose what's exciting and accessible to you here. 3 more breaths. Slowly release. Hands frame the front foot. Shift your hips back to your heels for Ardha Hanuman. Half split. Hinging at the hips. Pulling the heart forward. Now, we have about 8 breaths here. So if you have a full split, Hanumanasana, you could take that variation here, but you don't need to. Do what works for you. And wherever you are, think of Sternum pulling forward, squaring off to the front of your space. Let's take a final breath in, breath out. Plant the hands. Slowly and mindfully exit your pose, come back to all fours, and take a few cats and cows or hip circles. Just to release that effort. Okay. And then we'll move into the other side. Step your left foot between your hands for a little lunge. Now, if you're taking the dancer variation, you're going to want to move the back knee back so that when you rise into your low lunge, you've got some distance to pull yourself in two directions like scissors. Feel the activity of the adductors, inner legs hugging in. And then your choice, it's either hooking the thumbs, low lunge back bend, or dancer, reaching for your back foot. Can be useful if you struggle to balance here, to use a block to steady yourself. Taking the mudra, index finger to thumb, and squaring off the chest if you're in dancer. Breathe in your pose. Relaxed expression on your face. Final breath. Gently release the hands to frame the foot. Half split or full split is where you're headed. So no rush. These are some challenging shapes I'm throwing at you. So allow yourself to explore them with patience, compassion, and curiosity. One side is definitely going to have a different story to tell than the other. And one more breath in. Breath out. Slowly, slowly rewind your steps. Come to all fours. Take a couple cat-cows or hip circles or even a child's pose, whatever resets you. And we'll move into downward facing dog. You can move the blanket out of your way now if you're using it. And in this down dog, let's have the feet wide, the hands wide, and walk the feet a bit further forward. So this is a short down dog, a shorty. And then with your right hand, reach for the outside of your left ankle or shin or thigh. Peek under the left armpit, but keep pressing the left hand down and the right heel down. And one more breath in. Breath out. Release and switch. Left hand reaching for outside of the right leg. Peeking under right armpit. Last breath in. And out, back to down dog. Walk the feet to the hands. Bring the hands to the waist, and on an inhale, come up with a flat back. Make it like a back bend. Sternum leads. Natarjasana. Steady your gaze. Straight ahead. And then lift your left leg and grab your foot from the inside. Dancer pose, Natarjasana. So don't be in a rush. Lift your right arm up. Now, just like we did in that low lunge back bend, pull the knees together. Think of the leg going directly back. Kick your foot into your hand like crazy. And only when you can't kick anymore do you start reaching forward. Sharp and steady focus. And then slowly release. Dancer's so graceful sometimes until it's not. Just feel the effects of the pose, whatever happened or didn't happen. And then we'll take it on the other side. So now catching that right foot from the inside and really lengthening up through the left side. So find maximum length and rooting through the left heel. And then you start to kick. Feel the knee going straight back, not out to the side. Breathe and focus your gaze, your drishti. And then start to exit the pose. Natarjasana. Bring your open palms over your heart, breathe. And just feel your beating heart, your breath, slowing your heart down. And open your eyes if they're closed. Bring your feet wide, toes out, reach the arms out and up and lower down to a squat. Malasana. Breathing down into the hips. Option here for one final vinyasa flow or just to step back to down dog. That's where we're going to meet. Pigeon pose. Kapotasana. Lift the right leg high. Bring the right knee to the outside of the right wrist. And before you flop forward, feel the back bend of your pigeon. Feel the heart pulling forward, that beautiful arch in your low back. So options here, you could fold forward if you want something more down-regulating. If you'd like to explore another back bend, we can play with mermaid or king pigeon. So for that, you're gonna wanna bring your front heel closer to your groin, and you'll try to descend your right butt closer to the earth. If it's really far away, you might prop it up on a blanket. So once you're, grounded here, you'll look over the left shoulder, make sure the leg is behind your hip, not way out to the side. And then you could bend the knee and try to catch the foot. In mermaid, we capture the foot in the crook of the elbow. If you have king pigeon, you might play with that. But wherever you are, you're squaring your chest to the front of your space, just like you were in your dancer pose. Last breath, wherever you are. And gently release your pose. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Any way you choose to go there. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, sweep the left knee to the outside of the left wrist. Feel for squaring off your hips, just like you were about to do dancer pose, but now you're close to the ground. Scoot that back foot back. Try to descend your pelvis. If you're just folding forward, that's where you will go. If you're going to come into a back bending version, you're refining that. So props are amazing, right? This blanket under my tush, it just allows me to really ground down so I can stay upright as I come into the bind. So I'm not straining, I'm supported, my body trusts me because I'm giving it some support here. Take one more breath. And then release. Downward facing dog. And drop the knees. Bring them together. Take child's pose. Let the knees together. Make a forehead pillow for head with hands. And just breathe into your back. Shift forward and make your way onto your back now. Drawing the knees in and bringing the arms out wide like a T for double leg spinal twist. Just let the knees fall off to the left, head drifts toward the right. And bring the knees over to the other side, head drifts to the left. So whenever I do a practice with a lot of back bends, I always like to unwind with a twist. It just sort of resets everything. Come onto your backs. And you can either make your way to Shavasana or Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together, knees apart. Resting the arms anywhere that's comfortable for your final resting pose. If you have the time, I encourage you to take rest for as long as you need it. Otherwise, slowly move the fingertips, the toes, wake up the outer limbs, and draw the knees in and roll to one side. And press yourself up to sit. And bring the hands to heart center. Bow your head, acknowledging yourself for your open mind, open heart, and focus in this practice today. Namaste.